Have you ever met someone who made your heart race, only to realize later that their feelings didn't run as deep as yours? You replay every conversation, every text, wondering what went wrong. But here's the truth. Most people never talk about emotional attachment doesn't just happen. It's created. And when you understand the secret psychology behind it, you'll see that love isn't random at all. Men don't fall in love because of looks, charm, or chemistry alone. What truly pulls them in, what makes them stay, is a powerful emotional experience that makes them feel seen, understood, and emotionally safe. In this video, we're going to uncover that hidden side of love, the part no dating app, no romantic movie, and no relationship guru ever fully explains. Because when a man does this one thing, it's not just affection anymore, it's attachment. It's the invisible thread that ties his emotions to yours. You'll learn how small moments, a certain kind of eye contact, the way you listen, or how you respond when he's vulnerable, can quietly awaken the deepest part of his emotional brain. These aren't manipulation tactics. They're the building blocks of real connection, the kind that outlasts passion and survives distance. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize when a man is truly attached, you'll understand why. Because once you know the psychology of emotional attachment, love stops being a mystery and becomes something you can nurture, protect, and build for life. Love. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn might just change how you see love forever. When it comes to love, most people believe men are less emotional, that they fall in love slower, or that they're afraid of commitment. But psychology tells a very different story. Men feel deeply. They just process love differently. Their attachment doesn't begin with grand gestures or romantic words. It begins with emotional experiences that trigger safety, trust, and admiration on a subconscious level. When a man starts to feel emotionally connected, his brain releases oxytocin, the same hormone responsible for bonding between mothers and children. It's often called the love hormone, and it's what makes him want to be close, protect, and invest emotionally. But here's the twist. Men don't release oxytocin the same way women do. For women, connection often forms through words and emotional sharing. For men, it builds through consistent, calm presence, moments when they feel accepted without judgment. When he's around someone who makes him feel understood, not pressured, his defenses lower. He begins to associate that person with comfort and emotional grounding. That's why it's not the most beautiful woman or the most exciting one who captures his heart. It's the one who creates an emotional safe zone where he can finally relax and be himself. In these moments, his brain links safety with that person's presence. Every shared laugh, every moment of silence that feels natural, every time you listen without trying to fix him, these become emotional imprints. Over time, these imprints evolve into attachment. He doesn't just like you. His nervous system starts craving your presence. This is why when a man is truly bonded, he'll start doing small protective things almost unconsciously, checking in on you, remembering little details, wanting to share his world. It's not a choice. It's chemistry meeting emotion. The deeper the bond, the less his love feels like a decision, and the more it feels like instinct. True emotional attachment isn't about making a man chase you. It's about allowing him to feel safe enough to love you freely. Because once a man feels emotionally seen and valued for who he truly is, that's when love shifts from temporary attraction to lasting devotion. And that's where real connection begins. Every man has emotional triggers that spark love, moments or feelings that go far beyond physical attraction. These triggers aren't manipulative tricks. They are deep psychological responses rooted in how men experience safety, admiration, and purpose in relationships. Understanding these triggers isn't about control, it's about connection. When you know how they work, you can create emotional experiences that make love feel natural and effortless. One of the strongest triggers is emotional recognition. Men rarely express how deeply they want to be seen for who they really are. When a woman notices something genuine about him, his effort, his quiet strength, his small acts of kindness, it awakens something powerful. He begins to associate her with emotional validation, the feeling that he doesn't have to perform or compete to be valued. That kind of acknowledgement touches the core of a man's self-worth and makes him want to be closer. Another powerful trigger is respect. It's often misunderstood, but to men respect equals love. It's not about ego or dominance, it's about feeling trusted and appreciated for his intentions, even when he's imperfect. When a woman expresses confidence in his abilities, or simply says, "I trust you to handle it," it flips a switch inside him. He feels capable, dependable, and emotionally safe in her presence. That sense of safety forms the foundation of his attachment. Then there's the trigger of emotional contrast. Men fall hardest for women who can make them feel both excitement and peace, energy and ease in the same connection. When he can laugh freely with you and also find calm in your silence, you become emotionally magnetic. His brain links you to a sense of balance he can't find anywhere else. That contrast becomes addictive, not in a toxic way, but in a deeply grounding one. Vulnerability is another unexpected but powerful trigger. When a woman opens up about her feelings in a real, unguarded way, without using it to seek pity or prove a point, it gives him permission to do the same. Most men are starved for emotional honesty, but fear it will make them appear weak. When he sees you express emotion with grace and strength, it signals that he can drop his armor too. And when he does, attachment becomes inevitable. Finally, the most enduring emotional trigger of all is consistency. Men fall for the woman whose energy doesn't change with every mood or moment. When your presence feels steady, he feels emotionally secure. Over time, that consistency becomes comforting. He starts to crave it, rely on it, and align his emotional rhythm with yours. So when a man truly falls in love, it's not because you did something extraordinary. It's because he found a rare emotional space where he could breathe, feel, and belong. You became the calm in his chaos, the one who made his emotions make sense. That's not manipulation, that's emotional truth. And once he feels it, he'll never want to let it go. When a man becomes emotionally invested, his actions shift in subtle but undeniable ways. It's not always about grand gestures or romantic declarations. It's about consistency, attention, and emotional presence. Most men won't verbalize their attachment outright, but if you watch closely, his behavior will reveal it long before his words do. One of the first signs is emotional availability. When a man starts to open up about what he's thinking, even in small ways, it's a huge step. Men are often taught to guard their emotions, to stay strong and controlled. So when he begins to share his fears, his goals, or his stress, it's not casual conversation, it's trust. He's letting you into the private space of his inner world, which means you've already crossed from interest into emotional importance. Another clear sign is consistent effort. He remembers details about you, not just your favorite coffee or your birthday, but the things you mention in passing. When you tell him about a work presentation, he'll ask later how it went. When something matters to you, it automatically matters to him. That's not just attentiveness, it's emotional investment. His mind is starting to include you in his mental landscape, and that's a sign his attachment is growing deeper. Then there's protective behavior, which doesn't mean possessiveness or control. It's the quiet instinct to make sure you're okay. He walks you to your car, texts to check that you got home safe, or steps in when you're uncomfortable. He's not doing it to impress you. It's almost reflexive. When a man is emotionally invested, your well-being becomes tied to his peace of mind. One of the most telling signs is emotional consistency. He doesn't disappear for days or play hot and cold. Instead, he becomes reliable, present even when things aren't perfect. This steadiness signals that his feelings are anchored, not just fueled by excitement. He values the connection enough to show up for it, especially when life gets messy or confusing. You'll also notice emotional mirroring. When you're happy, he lights up. When you're down, he feels it too. This is empathy in action, the kind that develops only when someone's emotions matter to you on a deep level. He starts adjusting his behavior to match your emotional state, comforting you, celebrating you, or just being quiet when you need space. It's his way of saying, without words, "I'm here with you." And perhaps the most powerful sign of all, he starts including you in his vision of the future. It might come out casually, "We should go there someday," or "Next year I want us to." But those words carry meaning. It shows he's not thinking in moments anymore. He's thinking in time. His heart has begun to plan around you, even if he hasn't realized it yet. When a man is emotionally invested, love becomes less about what he says and more about how he shows up. His care becomes quiet, consistent, and real. And that's how you know you already have his heart. Keeping a man emotionally attached long-term isn't about constant excitement, perfection, or trying to be everything he wants. It's about emotional depth, creating a space where love feels both safe and alive. The truth is, initial attraction pulls a man in, but emotional stability, trust, and respect are what make him stay. Men don't fall in love once. They keep falling in love each time they feel emotionally understood and accepted for who they are. One of the most powerful factors in long-term attachment is emotional safety. When a man knows he can express his thoughts without being judged, corrected, or dismissed, he becomes anchored. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says. It means creating a space where he feels heard. When you listen without rushing to fix or criticize, it gives him something rare: peace. And peace to a man is magnetic. It makes him want to come home, not just to a place, but to you. Another essential factor is admiration. Men are drawn to women who see their potential and believe in them, not because they're perfect, but because they're trying. When you show genuine appreciation for his effort, it fuels his sense of purpose. This doesn't mean overpraising him. It's about noticing the small things, the effort he puts into his goals, how he handles stress, how he tries to show up for you. That acknowledgement becomes emotional oxygen. He feels seen, valued, and motivated to invest even more. Emotional challenge also plays a quiet but important role. Men stay emotionally connected to women who inspire growth, the kind of woman who encourages him to become his best self, but without demanding it. It's not about playing games or creating distance. It's about keeping curiosity alive. When he feels that you respect his individuality and also challenge him to evolve, the relationship becomes a living, growing space rather than a stagnant routine. Another long-term anchor is trust. Not the surface kind that's about fidelity, but deep emotional trust, knowing you won't weaponize his vulnerability. When he opens up, he's revealing parts of himself most people never see. How you respond to those moments determines how deeply he attaches. If he feels safe enough to be unfiltered, your connection becomes something he'll never want to lose. And finally, emotional reciprocity, giving love in a way that matches his energy, not out of obligation, but genuine affection. When both partners show effort, forgiveness, and patience, the relationship becomes a rhythm of emotional giving and receiving. That balance keeps passion alive without chaos, and intimacy deep without fear. What keeps a man emotionally attached isn't mystery or manipulation. It's emotional security with spark. When love feels like home and adventure at the same time, he doesn't look elsewhere. He doesn't question it. He just stays, because in a world full of noise, you became his calm, his inspiration, and his heart's safe place. Interest and attachment may look similar on the surface, but psychologically, they come from two very different places. Interest is curiosity. It's attraction, excitement, and the thrill of new energy. True attachment, on the other hand, runs much deeper. It's emotional investment that grows with trust, time, and vulnerability. The distinction is subtle, but understanding it is the key to knowing whether a connection has real potential or is simply temporary. When a man is interested, his attention is often driven by novelty. He's intrigued by what's new, unpredictable, and stimulating. He wants to know more about you, what you like, what you think, what makes you different. It feels exciting because it's the discovery phase. His focus is on the idea of you, the image that draws him in. Interest makes him curious, but it doesn't necessarily make him committed. It's emotional exploration, not yet emotional grounding. But when a man becomes attached, the motivation behind his actions changes. It's no longer about what's exciting. It's about what feels safe. He doesn't just want your attention. He wants emotional connection. He begins to think about your needs, your comfort, your feelings. His protective instincts surface, not because he's trying to impress you, but because he genuinely cares. True attachment isn't born in passion. It's built in consistency, in the quiet, everyday moments where he chooses to stay, to listen, and to care, even when it's not convenient. Interest fades when challenges arise. Attachment grows through them. When he's only interested, distance or difficulty will make him pull back. But when he's attached, those same challenges trigger deeper effort. He looks for solutions instead of exits. His presence becomes steady, even when emotions fluctuate. That's how you know it's no longer about the chase. It's about connection. Another key difference lies in emotional vulnerability. Interest thrives on surface-level interactions, fun, chemistry, shared laughter. Attachment deepens when he's willing to show fear, uncertainty, or imperfection. If a man can open up to you without feeling ashamed, it means his heart has gone beyond attraction into emotional trust. The way he sees you also changes. With interest, he focuses on how you make him feel in the moment. With attachment, he starts to think about how to make you feel loved and supported. His priorities shift from self-gratification to mutual care. You'll notice it in the small things, remembering what makes you happy, checking in when you're quiet, or showing up without needing a reason. Interest is a spark. It burns fast and bright. True attachment is a flame, steady, warm, and enduring. One fades with excitement, the other grows with emotional safety. When he's truly attached, he's not chasing the feeling of love, he's choosing you, over and over again, even when the thrill has settled into peace. And that's when you know it's real. Building emotional safety and connection isn't about saying the perfect words or playing the right role. It's about creating an environment where both people can be their true selves without fear. Emotional safety is the foundation of real intimacy. Without it, even strong attraction fades. With it, love deepens naturally because both hearts feel seen, respected, and understood. The first step in building emotional safety is presence. When you're with someone, your attention is your greatest form of love. Put away distractions, listen fully, and respond with intention. People can feel when you're truly present. It communicates, you matter here. For a man, that presence signals stability. It tells him he doesn't have to fight for space or compete for attention. Presence turns ordinary moments into emotional anchors. The next layer is empathy. Emotional safety thrives when someone feels understood, not fixed. When he shares something difficult, resist the urge to offer immediate advice or judgment. Instead, say things like, "I can see why that would bother you," or "that sounds really hard." Those simple acknowledgments show emotional maturity. They validate his experience and allow him to exhale. In that moment, he learns that being vulnerable with you is safe. Then comes honesty, without cruelty. Being emotionally safe doesn't mean avoiding truth. It means communicating it with care. You can express your needs and boundaries calmly, without blame or hostility. When you model emotional honesty, he feels permission to do the same. Healthy communication isn't about always agreeing. It's about knowing disagreements don't threaten the connection. Another vital part of emotional safety is consistency. Consistency builds trust faster than passion ever could. When your words and actions align, when you keep promises, follow through, and remain emotionally steady, it teaches him he can rely on you. This predictability might sound simple, but it's what makes love feel like home. It removes the anxiety of wondering where you stand and replaces it with quiet confidence. Emotional connection also grows through shared vulnerability. When you open up about your own fears, insecurities, or past pain, you invite him to meet you at a deeper emotional level. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It tells him, you don't have to be perfect with me. When both partners can be real, not curated, that's when emotional intimacy becomes unbreakable. Finally, true emotional safety is reinforced by acceptance. Love thrives where judgment ends. When you accept him for who he is, his quirks, his flaws, his ambitions, he stops performing and starts being. That freedom to just be is what turns connection into commitment. When two people create emotional safety together, love stops feeling like a risk and starts feeling like refuge. That's where hearts rest, trust deepens, and real attachment takes root. Because in the end, the deepest love isn't found in passion, it's found in peace. Emotional chemistry is what draws two people together, that electric feeling when everything just clicks. But chemistry alone doesn't create commitment. Real love requires transformation, turning fleeting connection into something secure, lasting, and emotionally grounded. The secret lies in understanding that chemistry lights the fire, but commitment is what keeps it burning. When emotional attraction evolves into emotional trust, that's when a bond becomes unbreakable. The first shift happens when both people move from wanting to be understood to wanting to understand. In the beginning, chemistry makes us focus on how someone makes us feel. Excited, desired, seen. But lasting connection is born when we start caring equally about how they feel. When you listen not just to respond but to connect, you create a sense of safety that deepens attachment. This shift changes everything. Love stops being a rush and starts becoming a rhythm. Turning chemistry into commitment also means embracing emotional responsibility. Strong relationships aren't built on constant passion. They're built on consistency during both calm and chaos. It's not about never arguing or never doubting. It's about how you both show up when things get hard. Commitment begins where ego ends. When you can admit when you're wrong, communicate instead of shutting down, and prioritize peace over winning, you build emotional maturity. That's what transforms attraction into partnership. Men in particular commit when they feel emotionally safe, respected, and inspired. A woman who supports his growth, who trusts his intentions even when he stumbles, becomes irreplaceable in his emotional world. He doesn't stay because of pressure or obligation. He stays because the relationship brings him peace, purpose, and pride. True emotional commitment feels like freedom, not control. It's choosing each other again and again, even when the novelty fades. Another key to lasting commitment is emotional alignment. Chemistry can connect two hearts, but shared values and mutual respect keep them beating in sync. When both people nurture trust, communicate with honesty, and keep curiosity alive, the relationship becomes a living bond, growing deeper with time rather than weaker. That's when love matures from passion to partnership, from attraction to attachment. The final step in transforming emotional chemistry into commitment is intentional love. It's choosing to invest in each other daily, even in small ways, the kind words, the forgiveness, the effort to stay emotionally present. Passion might start love, but it's daily intention that keeps it alive. In the end, real love isn't about chasing constant highs. It's about finding peace, excitement, and growth in one person, and knowing that even when emotions shift, the foundation remains steady. Because true commitment isn't about needing someone to make you feel whole. It's about choosing to build something whole together. And when chemistry evolves into emotional devotion, that's when love stops being temporary and becomes timeless.